Welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and we're excited to do this webinar with you every week. I think it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it. I don't know about Katie. I think she has fun with it as well. You know, she's a little bit more planned out than I am. I just kind of wing it, Katie, and I know you're muted out, so I'll just keep talking. But I tend to just wing it, because I want it to be live. I'd really like to be interactive. If people would want to interact with us on the call, just text me or you let me know somehow. Let me look at the chat. Can't see if I'm on mute, Maria. Yes, you're on mute. Do you want to be live on the call tonight, Maria? You want to participate? I'd love to have you on the call. All right. Well, let me know if you want to participate. If you're part of the call and you get, even if you just jump in and answer a few questions and it kind of gets you started. And the whole thing is that I've found that if you interact, you feel like you're more part of the group. And I know Katie would agree with that. She's tried to get people active on calls before as well. So no, there Katie disappeared on me. So it's just me. There you are. So again, welcome. Let's get this call started. I'm going to get started, Katie, and you can jump in when you're ready. Katie and I were talking just the other day. I was driving back from Spokane, Washington. It's not quite a 20-hour drive, and I go out there and I visited him about a month ago. I drove down New Orleans, which is about a 20-hour drive, and I go down and visit my middle boy there, and I visit my younger boy out in Washington. My older boy lives here in town. I got 3 of them, and I like this business because I get to work and play at the same time. I work a lot of hours, but I don't work very many hours either, because when you're having fun, it really doesn't seem like work. And I get calls sometimes, late at night. I sometimes get calls early in the morning. Katie and I talk probably 5 times a week, sometimes more. Sometimes we'll talk 5 times in one day and about various things, and we might talk about health problems. We might talk about building your business. We might talk about, our own, personal issues that are going on and things like that. And so you build that rapport with each other, and we can do that with other people as well. And so if you're interested in finding out how you can get healthier or how you can build a business, I know I posted on Facebook today, just 25 minutes ago, that we were going to be talking about what you can do to really help your finances. Because right now, Katie, in the United States, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but I'll tell you what, right now in the United States, there's a lot of people who are thinking that, hey, they're going to have to change their summer plans. Maybe not take the boat out so much, because a boat is just totally recreational. It goes through a lot of fuel, and fuel prices are way up. I mean, we're paying over $4 a gallon now, and I bet by the 4th of July it'll be over $5 a gallon all across the United States. I'm a car nut. I have quite a few cars. I put them on the road, and you can't just run regular pump gas. You got to run premium, the good stuff, and it's usually 20% more expensive than the regular gas. And so if prices go up, then I'm going to be paying 20% more to drive my hot rods around. And, it's going to hurt. But here's what I tell people. Yeah, I might cut back a little bit, but my goal is that, look, I'm not going to change my lifestyle. I'm not going to, I am not. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to figure out how to make more money. I'm going to figure out how to make more money, and I could work more hours. I could go get a job. I could work in, I could, do things where I could generate more income. I know some people are doing that. They're picking up second jobs. I know a guy who picked up a third job just to make ends meet. He's not saving for a rainy day. He's just paying his bills. I know people who are renting out rooms in their houses just to make ends meet. It's not it's not to pay off their mortgage any quicker, that's for dang sure. It's just to make things work. And I know people who are selling things, and I think, in my opinion, it's easier to go out and build what we're doing. Don't you think, Katie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're wanting to use these products, which are absolutely fantastic, and it's good that you don't have to pay for them. And if you use the product that you love, then why not share it with someone?
That's right. And so when we were talking the other day, I said, "Hey, let's talk about what we're taking."
Yes.
And really, when you're building a business, Katie, this is why I always talk about it, because what I'm taking is because I'm a product of the product.
Exactly. Yeah,
You have to be your own best customer in this industry,
definitely. Yeah,
right? If I want you to take these products, I darn well better be taking them myself.
absolutely. And it's so difficult that if you're not taking them, how can you recommend them? I mean, this in the same way. I mean, of course you can still recommend them, but it's like it's not really going to be the same unless you're a product of the product. If you've got results and you're happy with them, then it's so much easier, because then you've got a story to share. And we know that, facts tell, stories sell. So we want to be sharing stories. And plus, as humans, we, love learning through storytelling. And so you want to have that personal story. And then when you've got that personal story, because you've got great results, it's easy to share it with someone else. And so, me, Kurt, one of my favorite products, or the favorite product, of course, is the age pill. And the reason I love that product is it works so well for so many people, for so many different things.
That's right.
It doesn't just help with one thing, it helps with so many things across the body. And just recently, I decided to go back to taking a double dose. So now I'm going to be doing a double dose. And I was kind of thinking, and I'm thinking out loud and saying it on the call, as if we were just talking on the phone, just you and me. But, a great idea, and I wanted to plan it out, is to do, a sort of, I'm trying to think of the name we'd call it, but maybe a 3-month blitz where, we invite people to get on a double dose of the age pill and try the double dose again, and do what they did at the start. A lot of people came on using the age pill, and it was recommended by Tom to try taking the product in a double dose for 3 months, and then, going back to the regular dose. Well, I think it would be great for people to, make a commitment to try a double dose again for another 3 months and get that, that buzz back, that excitement back, but, even notice more results from just such a fantastic product. So that's kind of something that I've been, thinking
Yeah.
that we could do.
Well, think of it like this. What does the H pill do? Well, it removes lipofuscin and it removes the glycation, right?
Yeah.
And what are they? Well, that's like the sludge in your oil pan in your car. When you drive your car, the sludge builds up. And and you're every time you drive it, you should check the oil. So that's like taking the H pill on a daily basis. You take 3 in the morning, you take 3 at night. That's like just making sure that you have plenty of oil in the oil pan. And like Katie's saying, don't you change the oil in your car?
Yeah.
Your dad taught you to change the oil in the car. You don't wait till that red light comes on the dash and you go, "Oh no, there's something wrong."
Yeah.
You change the oil every 3,000 miles or 6,000 miles, whatever is recommended by your car manufacturer. But you change the oil. Well, same thing with this. Wouldn't it be nice if every once in a while you kind of get that sludge out of the oil pan in your cells and you clean up the mess? And so, like Katie said, what if once a year you do a 1 month deal where you just do a double dose instead of 3 and 3, you do 4, 4, 4, or you do 6 and 6, and you just kind of clean the sludge out, and think of it like changing the oil in your oil pan.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Because so I made that commitment just recently. So I've gone back to I'm going to do it for, a good solid 3 months, which is what was recommended. And just in doing that in the last, couple of weeks, I came in, I haven't seen my mum for a while, and she said straight away, "Oh, look at your skin. It looks fantastic. It looks so youthful." And I thought, it's that there's the age pill, because I've gone up in dose, it's starting to be more noticeable on the outside. It just really does work so well. And so the great thing is that if we got a group of us taking the double dose, then what would happen is that we'll get excited again and we'll get great results. And our friends and people that we know will start commenting, "Oh, you look a little bit different today. What have you been doing?" Because they'll notice that the benefits that you're getting from taking that double dose. And then it starts that conversation happening again, gets the excitement going again. You feel better. They're going to feel better. They're going to get excited. It's just a win-win-win all round.
That's
So
right.
I mean, that's one of my products. So that's one idea I had. And so if you're on the call listening to the recording, I'm going to talk to Kurt, and maybe we'll come up with something not maybe we will come up with something to implement that and put that out there.
We can try and figure out a contest of some kind. People love contests.
Yeah, that would be great.
So we'll figure out something, and Katie, testimonials are so good. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Here's my reason why I like testimonials. We know the age pill works.
Yeah.
Based on the science behind it, we know that the age pill works. And everybody needs the ingredients that's in the age pill. If you're not taking the age pill, then you better be getting it from your diet. If you're not getting it from your diet, you better get it from another supplement, right? And we like the age pill because it's the most efficient way, and it's the most powerful way to get these ingredients. But if you want to do it in your diet, go look it up. You can eat steaks and whatever, and you can get a lot of the ingredients that way. You're going to have to do a little bit of research and figure out how to do it. But Katie, here's the deal with testimonials, right? I mean, I don't wear pantyhose, for example, right? And I like to use this as an example. I don't wear pantyhose, but if I found a pair that didn't get runs and it just felt great and made your legs energized, I would tell my women friends about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I know that women are looking for things like that. I don't know if they still do, but I just kind of use that as an example.
Sure.
But you're looking for things that not only can help you, like I've got friends that got diabetes.
Right.
I don't have diabetes. I don't have blood sugar problem, but you can darn well bet that I'm going to pay attention to the testimonials on blood sugar problem, because it's pretty common in our country right now because of certain things. I'm not going to mention them. There's a lot of people who are having cardiovascular issues. Right. And I don't have any cardiovascular issues, but you can darn well bet that I'm going to be telling people how they can lower their risk of cardiovascular issues. And again, that's testimonials. That's why you want to listen to the testimonials, because maybe it doesn't affect you, but you might know somebody who has that problem, and you want to be able to refer to them and say, "Hey, listen to this. I think it might help you."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and exactly. And even as you just said, helping someone else, but it's also helping yourself. If you become familiar with all the different things that it can help with, then if you have that problem later on, or at some point in the future, or someone in your family, you'll know where to go, because you can actually listen to that information, share it with them, and then say, "Hey, why don't we try this?" And so I think that's a great idea. So we've covered that pretty good. So I guess let's talk about some of the other products that you're using that you really love, that you wouldn't cut, that you wouldn't go without, that you make sure.
Triangle of life.
Yeah. Okay.
Triangle of life.
Triangle.
I mean, I open my fridge door, it's right there. I got 2 bottles of Fucoidan, I got 2 bottles of Eternity, I got 2 bottles of Spectrumax right in my fridge all the time, because as I rotate the stock, I don't want to forget one, and I like to drink it cold.
Right.
You don't have to, but I like to drink it cold, so I don't want to take and I don't measure it out either. I just take the cap off, and I drink it down. Oh yeah. So
how much are you drinking? You don't
some days I might, like, if I feel like a cold coming on, sinus stuff, if I feel like I'm, kind of getting what I call the crud, I'll do 3-4 doses of Fucoidan in a day.
Right. Yeah.
and I don't measure it. I just drink it right out of the bottle,
Yeah.
and and then, so I run out faster than probably most people.
Right. Well, you can do that though. You can drink it out of the bottle and have those extra doses when you need it if you've got spare on hand. As you said, you've always got a few bottles. So if you run through one because this week you were feeling, a bit under the weather, I'm like, oh, well, I don't mind that I do that because I'm investing back in myself. I'm going to feel better sooner. I'll be back doing more of my work sooner. And so, using that extra Fucoidan, I think is a good investment. And
Yep.
so definitely having those.
And I get paid to drink it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
yeah,
I mean, when I was on my little 2-week trip here this week, and I drove out to the West Coast and saw my kid out there, I had 2 bottles of Fucoidan, I had 2 bottles of Eternity, I had 2 bottles of Spectromax in my cooler. And when I'd stop along the road, at a rest stop, and I'd let the dog run around, I'd take a shot. And people ask me, well, what are you drinking? And what is that? And I just tell them, I said, hey, I'm traveling. I'm spending a couple of days. I spent 14 hours on the road. I mean, it's extra stress on your body.
yeah, absolutely. And so what about the Eternity? So for me at the moment, I'm doing I guess sort of health blitz with it at the moment. So I'm on like 4 or 5 doses of the Eternity at the moment. And the reason, and so I guess to share with everyone the reason that is, so Kurt and I have discussed in detail about the ingredients in Eternity. Of course, the key ingredient in Eternity is the resveratrol. And in discussions that we've had, we worked out, or we were told also, I think it was from Tom at some stage, it might have been, it definitely is from corporate, but is 350 milligrams, I think, of resveratrol per serving.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I was reading a study. So, Sinclair, who's a big advocate of anti-aging, and he loves the ingredient resveratrol. So you can go and look this up. So definitely do this. If you go into PubMed and you type in resveratrol, you should see all the things that come up that people take resveratrol for. There's just a whole bunch of things. And of course, we can't make claims about our product. I'm not talking specifically about our product, talking about the ingredient, but you want really good doses of resveratrol going into your body. And, my doctor said to me, are you taking a resveratrol product? You need to be on a resveratrol product. And even Dr. Mark Hyman, he's, a doctor that talks about certain supplements that everyone should be taking as just a part of their health regime. And one of them at the top of the list, again, is resveratrol. So the reason is resveratrol helps to turn on that sirtuin gene. It acts like an antioxidant. It helps to protect the body. And coupled with that ingredient in the Sizzle product, we've got all those other fruit pigments, like raspberry extract, and there's a whole list of extracts that are in that product that are antioxidants. So you've got a really powerful product there. It's also got green tea extract in there as well. So you've heard about all the benefits of green tea. So if you are on the call, or if you're listening to the recording, have a look at the ingredients in that product. I mean, they really are amazing. There's just so many benefits to those. And the polyphenols, they're really, really important in protection, against all sorts of things. And I'm always careful about what I say, but you know exactly what I'm saying. So you know exactly what I'm saying. So, it's just polyphenols is another great ingredient. So all these ingredients, and if you were to take that product and try and go and buy those ingredients separately, it would actually cost you just a fortune. And we've got them all packed in this one product. So I love that product. You've got some excellent testimonials on that product. So how much of the resveratrol do you like to take, and how much do you recommend, people taking?
Minimum, I get my 1 dose a day, and who knows what's in that dose. I might actually, my 1 dose might be 2 doses. I don't know. I just drink it out of the bottle. But, Eternity resveratrol, it works together with the H pill.
Yeah.
The sirtuin genes, and and the stem cells, all that, it all works together. And then Katie, we don't want to skip Spectromax. Spectromax, there's 74 trace minerals. And when we say trace, it means it's a little bit, but they're essential trace minerals as well, which means that you need them.
Yeah.
You can't skip them. And a lot of people do. A lot of people miss out on some of those essential trace minerals. I read a study that was put out by Harvard a number of years ago, and they said that close to 95% of people are missing at least 5 essential trace minerals.
Yeah. Wow.
95% of people.
Yeah.
That means only 5% of people are getting their dosage of the essential trace minerals. And so Spectrum again, I don't really know how much I'm getting, not because I'm just taking a swig out of the bottle. Some days I might get a single dose, some days I might get a quadruple dose. I don't know. But you really want to take that. Plus there's 40 antioxidants in there as well.
Yeah. And there's just, I've brought up the ingredients list, and I hadn't looked at it for a long time. There's ingredients in there that I wasn't even aware of. It's even got broccoli sprouts is in the Spectrum Act. So it's got vegetable extracts in there as well. It is absolutely packed full. So again, if you're on the call, have a look, or listening to a recording, have a look at the ingredients in Spectrum Act. I mean, that you will be amazed at what's packed into that product. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I love that product. And when you talk about the importance of nutrition and having those minerals, I don't go past my best friend either, Kurt. We both love our dogs, and I'm sure there's a lot of dog lovers on the call too. My dog I don't feed my dog the vet recommended stuff, the packaged processed foods. I don't feed it the tinned or the beads or the dry food. My dog gets fresh meat. He gets beef with vegetables, but then I supplement that meat with the triangle of life. So he's getting those ingredients too. He's getting those trace minerals, the antioxidants. He's getting resveratrol. He's getting fucoidan. And I mean, if you've seen my dog, his coat is just absolutely fabulous. He looks beautiful. He's bouncing around, lots of energy, really sharp. I mean, that for me is my personal insurance policy a bit against him going to the vet, unless it's an emergency, probably an accident. His health has been excellent, as has my previous dog, been excellent too, right up until the very end. So I think, that's proof too, right? You've seen dogs turn around taking that product. Didn't you have a friend whose dog was not responsive, and you gave the dog some triangle of life and it started bouncing around?
Yep. Yeah. And while you look at Chewy's 14 years old. I mean, we go for a 2 to 3 mile walk every single day, and he's not as fast as he used to be, but half the time he's walking in front of the 2-year-old the 2-year-old dog.
Yeah.
And and that says something, like Katie said, look at their coat. Do they have a nice shiny coat, or are they kind of dull and dry? And you can tell a lot by that, so it's important. Katie, here's another one that I'm not missing. I haven't missed this one now in 2 years, right? It's a Sizzle Sport.
Yeah.
I drink it. I love it. I love the taste of it. If you haven't drank that, if you're on the call and you haven't tried Sizzle Sport, you really need to try it. It's a pink lemonade. I like to I mix it up double. Some people say they don't like it as strong as what it is. I throw 2 scoops in there because I really like that lemonade flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I make a double dose of it. I drink one in the morning. I drink one at night. And I take that with my Sizzle Thin. Sorry, I was having a brain fart. And yeah, I take the Sizzle Thin, and some people say, well, how many Sizzle Thin do you take? I take 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I take 3 at noon, and then I usually take 2 at night.
Wow.
But I've lost over 60 pounds, Katie.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, you've had phenomenal results, Dr. Kurt, just fantastic. And so again, you're a product of that product, and you love taking it, and it's got results for you. And so how does it make you feel, the Sizzle Thin? So how are those 2 products together helping you with your weight loss? Maybe just share.
Well, here's what I notice is that when I take the Sizzle Thin and the Sizzle Sport, the Sizzle Sport tends to give me energy. It's like an energy drink for me. And I don't like the energy drinks, like Red Bull and Monster and stuff like that. I just don't like the taste of it. I don't like the aftertaste. I like the taste of Sizzle Sport. And when I take the Sizzle Sport and the Sizzle Thin, I don't know which one's doing which, but I notice I can go all day long without eating. I mean, like if I get busy, like today I got busy, I was doing some stuff outside, tilling my garden, getting the garden ready, and I just got busy, and I skipped lunch, and I came in, just a couple hours ago, and I had just a light meal, and I got busy and did some more work outside, came back in, and here it is. It's 8:30, and I don't have any hunger.
Wow.
So what that does for me, and I don't advocate skipping meals.
Mm.
I just say that it controls my hunger so well that on days like today when I got busy, I can skip a meal and I don't notice it. But
Mm.
what that allows you to do is it allows you to control what you eat.
Mm.
And that's important. That's important because, you know, I think that, and I'm just going to say it based on what I've read. The reason that many of us are overweight is because we eat low nutrition food.
Mm.
So your body is sending you a signal, more nutrition, more nutrition, more nutrition, but you don't understand the language that your body's using, that your brain is using, and all you hear is eat, eat, eat.
Right.
So then you go back to the fridge, you grab more of the food that doesn't have any nutrition, and then you just keep eating. You're getting more of this low nutrition, high calorie food, and
Mm-hmm.
you start packing that on.
Mm.
And a lot of people that say, well, I'm doing keto, oh, I'm doing high protein, oh, I'm doing, this diet, that diet, whatever. The thing is that let's get you on a high nutrition diet, because it's the signal from your brain is saying nutrition, and what you're doing is you're just hearing eat because
Right.
you don't understand the language.
Yeah.
And that's what Sizzle Thin and Sizzle Sport allow me to do, is it allows me to look at those labels and decide I'm going to eat some of this and some of that, rather than eating whatever's handy.
Yeah, definitely. And that Sizzle Sport giving you that real boost of energy, because often people can feel, when you feel tired and you haven't had enough sleep, I find I naturally try and reach for food, because you're trying to wake yourself up, and you feel like if you eat some more, you might wake up and get some more energy. And that's just kind of almost like a natural instinct to do that. And the product Sizzle Sport's really going to help with that, because it's going to help make you feel that awake and not so tired, especially if you haven't had as much sleep as you'd like. And so that supports you. Then along comes in the Sizzle Thin, and the two work beautifully together. Now you add the age pill to that, and the eternity, there's a great combination. Because if we talk about anti-aging, to live a long healthy life, you want to have a healthy weight too. You don't want to be overweight, and going up and down with your weight all the time either is not ideal. So you want those things to support you. So I think those sound great, all those products. I don't take the Sizzle Thin. I do recommend it, but I don't need the Sizzle Thin in terms of weight management. I've got that under control.
Yeah.
But I have tried the product, because I don't, I've tried everything in the Sizzle range. So that definitely is a great product. So is there, what else in your cupboard that you?
Well, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I've been talking about what I take. What do you take?
Like I'll rattle off. So I've got the Inner Chi for her, for the hormone balancing. We need the balancing the hormone with all the xenoestrogens and the problems with the environment for women and stuff like that. So definitely that one. Also, it can help with women. I've heard testimonials. Again, we can't make claims, so I could say this is just a coincidence. But it's funny that there's ingredients in that product that support hot flashes. So hot flashes, whatever you like to call them, could be a flash too. So if people are having problems with that, so it does support that. So I love that product, and I think that's fantastic. We've got the Triangle of Life, we've got the H pill, the Stemolytic. We talk about senescent cells as part of the aging process. The Stemolytic, in fact, I'm on jumped up to a double dose on that one too. I'm going to bundle them all for the next 3 months and really have a blitz, a nutrition blitz. And then the other product I've got in there, of course, so we've got the Triangle of Life. I love the TSX, Kurt. We don't talk about this one at all, but I know that you and myself, I came into really Sizzle. One of the things that attracted me was the TSX. I think it came out in about 2012, when there was that other competitor product that was really big, without, I guess, mentioning the names.
Well, we can mention the name, TA65.
TA65. And how much were they selling that product for? Wasn't it $2,000 or $10,000 a month?
Well, it's not. I mean, if you're trying to get the same dosage that you're getting with the single dose of the TSX,
Yeah.
one of my patients, he was taking TA65, and he was taking $3,000 worth of TA65 per month.
Yeah. Wow.
And I showed him the TSX, and I said, here, compare it. Compare the dosage of what you're actually getting, the astragalus and the bacopa extracts. Compare the dosage of what you're getting with that versus this. And this is just my opinion. I can't say this has been scientifically analyzed, right?
Yeah.
Tom and I sat down and he showed me the differences. And you know, he started taking the TSX and was getting the same results without having to spend all that money.
Yeah. And so it's just fantastic. And so for everyone who's listening to the recording or on the call, the TSX, as Kurt says, got those ingredients, the back of sides. Is that how you pronounce it? And the astragalus. And so these are ingredients that actually support the tips or caps of our chromosomes, and which is really important because when our cells replicate, we want as perfect as copy as we can get. Of course, we're not going to get that because every time one of your cells replicates is not as good as it was before, because that's part of the aging process. That's because we're getting DNA damage on a daily basis just from being out in the air, and the UV light, the toxins, and just living and breathing creates damage. And so we want to try and maintain and support the body to repair, because we can't make claims about the products. But if you do the
Yep.
research on that, we want to keep those telomeres healthy so we don't have those mistakes. So you can do tests, can't you? You can do a telomere test. You can get a baseline, then you can go on the product, take it for 3 months and compare. And I know that there are a number of people that actually did that test for themselves. I think Jackie Christensen did that, and it's actually posted in one of the groups, and I'll share it after this call. But someone in there did a test before and after taking that product, and there was an improvement in the length and health of their telomeres. So,
I haven't done it for a while, but I remember when I first got started, TSX is what got me into Sizzle, because I just learned about TA65. I was on my way to an anti-aging seminar. I was one of the speakers there down in St. Louis, and I was driving through Omaha, and a friend of mine said, hey, have you heard of Sizzle? And I said, no. And he said, here, listen to this. And he gave me a couple of recordings, and I listened to it from Omaha to St. Louis. And one of them was Tom talking about the TSX. And I'm like, boom, I'm in. It just hooked me, hold me in.
yeah.
And that's what happened. And but the TSX is such an important product, and when you combine it with everything else. But Katie, I had my telomeres tested, and at that time I was 8 years. That was 8 years ago. I'm 60 now. I was 52 then. But when I had my telomeres tested, my telomeres had aged back to where I was at 42.
Oh, wow.
So I reversed my age by 10 years based on my telomeres. Now, is it strictly because of the TSX? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that it's a combination of everything, because I tend to eat healthy. I don't eat a lot of junk food. If you went in my fridge right now and you're looking for a snack, you're not going to find one. You're gonna find cooked buffalo. You're going to find cooked asparagus, and things like that. But so is it just due to the one product? No, it's due to a combination. In my opinion, everything works together. Like Katie's talking about resveratrol. Resveratrol ramps up the sirtuin genes. The sirtuin genes fix that DNA damage. Stemolytics removes the damaged stem cells, and TSX takes and extends the end of the end of the chromosomes, the telomeres. So they all work together. If you're taking one, you should be taking all three.
Yeah.
And
you can buy them in packs, which is really great. If you buy the age pill with the TSX, you get an absolute bargain. You can get for 160 US, you can get a bottle of the age as well as a bottle of TSX. So those packs are just outstanding value for money. So
yeah,
I guess we could keep talking all night. I'm noting the time here. We're just on the half hour,
yeah.
because we could talk for a long time. We could go another hour.
Yeah, and maybe next week we continue it. But what I'd like to just say is that, okay, so we're taking the TSX and the Stemolytics and the Triangle of Life, and I'm taking, the Sizzle Thin and the Sizzle Sport, and we're both taking the H pill, and Katie's taking a double dose of the H pill. And some days I take a double dose, some days I don't, but I'm taking at least 6 a day. On top of that, if I look over at I'm looking at my countertop over here. I can see the brain vitality over there. I can see the calcium product over there. I can see the super omega over there. That's the ones that I can just see from right here that I'm taking. I don't use the Sizzle Lean very much, but sometimes I do. I just, I'm not a big protein shake guy. I've just never gotten the habit of drinking protein shakes.
But when you're in a hurry, like if you're a meal on the run, you'll go for that though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, when I'm like last week when I was on the road, I brought it with me because I bring a gallon of spring water, and I put my Sizzle Lean in my shaker glass. I dump in the water, shake it up, down the road I go.
Yeah.
I don't have to stop to eat.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it would be good to continue the conversation, and maybe we could make next week part 2 of part 1, and let's cover the other products, because obviously there's quite a number of products that are in your cupboard and my cupboard, and we haven't had time to talk about them all. And it would be good, because I think it's good for us to share this information with people and let them know why we take it, why we're taking it, why it's important to us, because then they can go away and have a think about that, do a bit of research, and it may be something that could really help them, which I truly deeply believe that it could, and I believe it would if people were, taking it. That's my opinion.
And if you're on the call, or if you're listening to the recording and you want to jump on and say why you take a certain product, get a hold of Katie or I and let us know. Just say, hey, I'd like to get on the call and I'd like to just explain why I take this product or why I take that product. It might just be, hey, because my dad told me to.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Katie, thanks for being on every week. I sure appreciate it. You're just such an asset to the team, helping us get this stuff out there, get the information out to people, and folks, think about it. It's a volunteer thing. We don't get paid to be on these calls, and but it helps build the team. And if you want to build a team, start jumping on a call, and just even if you jump on the panel and every once in a while you say, yeah, if that's all you do, you're part of the panel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Great. Thanks everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.